Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we are diving deep into the foundations of Islam. It's one of the most influential faiths on the planet, so let's jump right in.
And just to give you a sense of the scale we're talking about here, check this out. We're looking at over 1 billion followers worldwide. With numbers like that, its influence is just massive. You can't deny it. So you got to wonder, right? How did it all begin? What are the core beliefs? And what does it actually mean to live as a Muslim day to day? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack. We're going to travel back to its origins, take a look inside the Quran, and really break down the 5 pillars that are the foundation of a Muslim's life.
All right, so to understand this global faith, we've got to go back to the beginning. Our story kicks off more than 1,400 years ago, in a place that, honestly, would change the course of history. Okay, so picture this. It's the 7th century. We're on the Arabian Peninsula, which at the time was this bustling hub, a real crossroads for trade and all sorts of new ideas. And we're zooming in on one city in particular, Mecca, right around the year 610. Something happened here that would literally set in motion a faith that would eventually span the entire globe.
And at the absolute center of this story is a man named Muhammad. Now, Islamic tradition tells us that while he was meditating in a cave just outside Mecca, he had a profound experience. He was visited by the angel Gabriel and started receiving messages directly from God. And these weren't just a one-time thing. These divine revelations went on for more than 20 years. They would become the very foundation of Islam.
Okay, and this next part is really important to understand. Muslims don't see Muhammad as starting a brand new religion from scratch. Not at all. They see him as the final prophet, the last one in a long, respected line of prophets that includes figures you've probably heard of, like Abraham and Moses, who are, of course, central to Judaism and Christianity, too. So the message of Islam is seen as a kind of restoration, a completion of that same original monotheistic faith.
So, all those messages Muhammad received, where did they go? Where were they all recorded? Well, that leads us directly to the sacred text of Islam.
But wait, before we dive into the text, let's just clear up one super important term you're going to hear. The messages were from God, who in Arabic is called Allah. And it's really key to remember that Allah isn't a different God. It's just the Arabic word for God. We're talking about the very same God that's worshipped by Christians and Jews.
So those revelations, the ones delivered to Muhammad over a span of 23 years, they were carefully compiled into the holy book of Islam, which is called the Quran. And for Muslims, this is so much more than just a sacred book. It's believed to be the literal, direct, and completely unchanged word of God. It's the ultimate guide for life.
So what's at the heart of the Quran's teachings? Well, it all kicks off with this unwavering belief in one God, Allah. And from that central point, everything else flows. It's about following God's divine guidance, which means living a life of honesty and kindness, and crucially, taking full responsibility for your own actions.
And I think this quote really nails it. It perfectly shows the link between your personal faith and how you act in the world. See, the goal isn't just about being a good person in private. It's about taking those beliefs and using them to help build a society that is fair, just, and genuinely caring for everyone.
Okay, so we've covered the origin story and the core beliefs. But how does a Muslim actually put all that faith into practice in their daily life? That's where we get to the foundational framework of Islam, the 5 pillars.
The easiest way to think about these pillars is as the essential duties, the things that really structure the life of a Muslim. They're the practical side of the coin, right? They take all those beliefs we just talked about and turn them into real, tangible actions and commitments.
So these 5 actions are really the blueprint. It all starts with the Shahada. This is the declaration of faith, the absolute bedrock of belief. Then you reinforce that belief with Salat, the 5 daily prayers that keep that spiritual connection strong throughout the day. Next, you put that faith into action with Zakat, or charity, which is all about supporting the community. Devotion gets even deeper with Psalm. That's the month-long fast during Ramadan. And finally, for those who are able, the journey culminates in the Hajj, a pilgrimage to Mecca that's meant to be undertaken once in a lifetime, bringing together Muslims from every corner of the globe.
Now, what's amazing is that these practices didn't just shape individual lives. They literally shaped world history. So let's zoom out for a minute and take a look at the incredible global impact Islam has had.
Honestly, it's hard to even overstate the influence of Islamic civilization. For centuries, it was a powerhouse, a global center for culture and mind-blowing innovation. Think about it. While Europe was going through its Middle Ages, scholars in the Islamic world were basically inventing algebra, making huge leaps in astronomy, and developing medical procedures like cataract surgery that directly laid the groundwork for the modern science we have today.
So, if we boil all of this down, from the first revelations in a cave near Mecca to the 5 pillars to its huge impact on global history, what's the big takeaway? It's that at its heart, Islam champions a set of core values that have resonated with people for centuries: compassion, justice, and faith.
And that brings us to a final thought I want to leave you with. In a world with more than 1 billion Muslims, these core principles, they're not just dusty old concepts from a history book. They're active, living values that shape people's lives every single day. So the real question for all of us is, how do these powerful ideas of faith, compassion, and justice actually shape and influence our shared world, right here, right now?